Mustafa, and the floor is to you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is my utmost honor and privilege to be in this magnificent university venue of RAK, American University. Whenever I come here, I become nostalgic because, my daughter did her graduation in London School of Economics when the old, there were, I think around 10 years back, you had the porter cabins, and in that American University was hosting this London School of Economics. So I used to come here very often that time, and that time this area was under construction. And I'm so glad that it has turned out to be a wonderful, epicenter of dissemination of knowledge. And many congratulations to all of you for being part of this American University in Ras Al Khaimah. I'm truly honored and thankful to Dr. Tehseen for organizing this, and many thanks to Dr. Tariq. We have been closely interacting the last so many days to make this thing happen. So this presentation is the result of my research in emotional intelligence, in criminology, in these two subjects what I did masters, and later I did my PhD in leadership. So, and with the experience of a business, the legacy which I hold by my father. My father started business in 1958. Of course, I was not born that time. I was born 10 years later, and continuing this legacy. So this is the presentation made from my experience and knowledge. When you say a business mindset, so what's a business mindset about? It's an entrepreneurial mindset is to do something different, to serve a problem, to give a solution to the problem statement in the market, and serving that in the best possible way. Now, I'll go a little faster because on the squeeze of the time what I've been given. So otherwise this presentation is almost around an hour and a half long. We'll compress it in about 40-45 minutes, inshallah. So first thing is to when you go into an entrepreneurship, identify the talent within you, because that's very important to identify the talent. That's why we have millions of different businesses around the world. It's based on the likes and dislikes. It's based on the talent what you have to do that business. If a person is inclined towards an IT business, he will study IT and then go for that business. Similarly, a person has an inclination towards a textile or a hardware or any other thing. So that's why the millions of businesses are different in the world. So based on the talent and the knowledge you acquire. Once you have identified the talent within you, the very important thing is to nurture that talent. Identifying is just the first step in that long journey, but you need to nurture that talent. So by nurturing the talent, you always have an edge towards that. Let's say, many a time we say that, success came in overnight after hard work of 15 years. So that nurturing of the talent is very much required to keep you up to date in the current time. Once you are into the business, currently we live in a world which is volatile and which is evolving and changing very much. So you have to induce creativity. So if you don't induce creativity, you will be redundant in no time. So what phones we were using 10 years back are not the same now. What cars we were using 30 years back are not same now. So they evolved, and a lot of innovations and creativity has been put into it. So always look for what next. Look for what next. Steve Jobs, when he came out with the iPad, that time there was no iPad market in the world. So there were laptops, desktops, and mobile phones. So when he put this concept to his team, the team said that, this is unprecedented gadget. So Steve Jobs replied in that meeting that people don't know what they want. I know what they want. And right now, iPad is the tablets. Now it's the tablets are second largest selling devices in the world. It's always induce creativity, open-mindedness. So, we don't work with the closed mind in the business. Always look for open-minded. And this is, I will give you with an example that nothing dies faster, a new idea in a closed mind. And so, if you have a great idea, but you have a very closed mind, the idea will die out in no time. See, can anyone say how many ideas we get in a day? How many ideas we get in one day? I'm talking. One research says that around 70 to 80,000 different ideas pop up in our mind every day. So if we have an open mind, one day per person. So that one research has given this figure, and if we keep our mind open, that's why sometime looking at something you get an idea, and enterprise is created on that. So that creates a problem. If you see the problem statement and then you start working on it, and a solution is created to that. So open mindedness is very important in business. But always think beyond. Whatever you are doing in the business, whatever you are doing in your enterprise, always think beyond. If I tell you about this Toyota, we are in 2024, almost end of 24. Now 25 models are already in the market in automobile. But Toyota in their library has 3 future models which they are going to launch. They have it now, but they are launching it one by one. So it's that always they think beyond and prepare themselves. To get a quality output, you require quality input. Unless you don't have a quality input, you cannot get quality output. So your seeds are very important, for the good fruits to come. So always pay attention on the input you give. Many a time people bicker for, I'm not getting good results, I'm not getting good results. And when we deep dive into it, we find that, there were no good efforts put into that. So always your quality seeds are very important to get quality fruits. Learn to be different. You do anything in your life, don't just add one to the count. Be different. You all are very unique. We all are very unique. So you all possess one skill which I don't have. And each one of you are genius in one of the field put in you which the other person does not have. So ponder on it and learn to be different. So that will give you an outstanding edge in the market. Continuous skill development is so essential in the current world. So, and I'm glad that you all are, have a strive for knowledge and continuous, which I will talk further in my slides also. So skill development is very important, and especially in the field of IT. Now it is not only limited to IT, because the things are changing, the models are evolving in every businesses. So 10 years back, somebody has learned certain skills, may not be relevant now. So they need to upgrade it on every skill they possess. Strive for knowledge. That's very important. If you keep your bowl like this, when the rain falls, the drop will fall into it. The same bowl I will invert it and put, the drop will fall, but it will go out. So keep your bowl open to take knowledge. And knowledge is an endless ocean. Anything what we learn, how much we study, is still a drop in ocean. So strive for knowledge and try to learn always, something different. In business, very important lesson to learn is no to shortcut. Because shortcut will cut you short. Many times we have seen, that the students, when they are in the final year, they are extremely energetic, extremely enthusiastic, that once we finish this, go into the real world and we'll capture it. But real world is very different than the academic world. But so, many a times we have seen that when they encounter failures, they encounter some hurdles, they get depressed, or they are not prepared for that failure, so they take shortcut. But avoid shortcuts and be on your track. So that's why, I say never lose the right way. So right way is the only way to succeed. I always tell people, when in our company we have almost once we had 35 nationalities working for us, and the young boys come from different part of the world, and especially in the subcontinent, they have a feeling that UAE is a city of gold, is a country of gold, and 500 dirham grows on the tree. We just go and pluck it out. So when they come here, huh? They have that kind of notion. But when they come here, they find that it's so hard. It's so hard. So I always tell them that, out of 100 ways, 99 are wrong. Only one is right. Stick to the right way, and that will only lead you to a successful and a sustainable life. Always prepare for challenges. See, that is very important. Now, earlier we lived in the world of unshared certainties. Means everything related to my department, to my business, I thoroughly know everything. Now we live in a world of shared uncertainties. Shared uncertainties are that anything happening anywhere in the world is going to affect my business. And it was very evident during the COVID, started in one small city in China, which engulfed the entire world. So, yes, globalization. So anything happening in anywhere is going to affect us. So prepare for challenges. Once you prepare for challenges, it becomes easy to overcome the challenge. So one person standing on the shore, he'll say, "Oh, such a high wave, what will I do?" And when a surfer sees the high wave, it's a time to surf. So once you are prepared for challenges, then you need to overcome that. So that's where, Europe, in certain places in Europe, the winters are very severe. So by September, October, they start preparing for that. And when it comes, they have enough wood in the house for the chimney. The clothes are ready for that weather and everything. So once you are prepared, then you can overcome that challenge and keep your life going on. If you do not prepare yourself, you will have to spend time on repair. So either you prepare yourself or you spend time on repair. Yes. Absolutely. I will tell you a very humorous joke on this, what you told about the medicine. It's just a joke, so, take it that one scientist, he was so happy, he came out from the laboratory. "I have found the medicine, I have found the medicine." Then people asked him, "For what disease?" He said, "Now I will research that disease." So, so it's a joke. So never give up. See, in life, we always encounter failures. We always encounter hurdles. Be like water. Find your way out. Never give up. Because life is not like walking in the garden. So everything, we have to fight. So yesterday I had an honor to meet the Nobel laureate Stephen Chang, who got his Nobel Prize in physics, and he told, "It's not done until we die." So please never give up. Attitude you should have in anything you do in your life. See, there is a thin line between intelligence and insanity. Intelligence is knowing your results, what you are going to achieve. And insanity is keep doing the same thing without knowing your results. So there is a very thin line. You have to distinguish between this and follow your path. Another thing in life and business, especially, be confident. To be confident is very good. To be overconfident is dangerous. To walk on a tightrope on a Niagara Fall is a talent, but not to do is an intelligence. So, always in business, there are risks. So, identify the risk and try to mitigate those risks. So, risk cannot be eliminated, it can only be minimized. So, try to minimize the risk as much as possible with your confidence and never be overconfident in the business. Another thing, very important characteristics of a good entrepreneur. You be intelligent but not cunning. To be intelligent in the business is very good. You be different. You do things, in a different way. But the right way to do business and the cunningness will not lead you to a successful entrepreneur or in your life anywhere you go. Ethical dealing is so important in the business. Even in every act of your life, ethical dealing is so important. I'll give you an example of JRD Tata, one of the greatest business house in the world. Tata Corporation is ex-chairman, past chairman JRD Tata. One of his interview in the early 80s, he said that we could have been 3 times bigger than what we are now if we would have kept our ethics aside, but we chose to be like this. So be on the ethical part is so important. Many a time you will get certain things which will deviate you from your ethics to get shorter gains, but avoid that. Ethical dealing is very important. Very important characteristics. This is not only related to an entrepreneur, it's related to a good human being. Always be humble, because it said that whoever you are going to meet on your way up are the same people you will meet on your way down. And life is up and down, it's not a straight line. So always be humble with the people you deal with. So be human with them. And I always say that being human is more important than human being. So being human is very essential characteristics of a person in an enterprise. You need to work smarter, because working right now in the world of technology, in the world of AI, you need to work smarter and achieve your results in a shorter time and in a better way rather than working hard. See, earlier we had encyclopedias, and in our house we had a huge library, and it was running 2 meter wide, the encyclopedia. Now the encyclopedia is in the mobile phone. So you have to work smarter and in every way to achieve your desired results. Very important characteristics in dealing. Remove I, my, me, myself. I, my, me, myself will not. Instead, you replace with we, us, and ourselves. I have a habit to communicate. Whatever I communicate, I write we. And many a times, if I am going alone for a meeting and I said we are on the way, I get a message. How many of you are there? So then I'd say I'm alone. So, but always write we, ourselves, and us and ourselves. That gives a sense of inclusiveness of your work when you do. Remove this 3-letter word. Trust me, this 3-letter word will, once you remove it, your success path will accelerate. And ego never leads to any success. Maybe a short term, you may feel that, okay, you got success, but it never leads to. And ego is one of the greatest destroyer of your personal life, in the corporation, in enterprise, in everywhere. So this 3-letter word, remove from your dictionary. Turn your sails in accordance to the wind. So this is very important. So study the trends which are going on. See, right now, we don't use calculator as a calculator alone because we all have in our phone. So if I am dealing with calculator, my business will shrink to minimum. I don't know how many of you seen the very old phone which you used to turn around to dial. So we had that phone. In that phone, to avoid somebody dialing zero, we had a lock, zero lock. You put it on that. I know one person in Dubai who is having 150,000 of those locks in his store unsold. Now he cannot sell anywhere because those phones are gone. So you always have to turn your sale according to the wind. So follow the trends, follow what is currently happening. Earlier, we used to have huge stocks of certain things because of the logistic dilemma and delays in the deliveries. Now, due to the rapid logistic system, delivery at the doorstep, by courier, by many other means, your business stocks are reduced. So, and that's how you can turn around your material faster. So always turn your sales in accordance to the wind. This is a very important message. You have to compete with your own self. How many of you know Usain Bolt? Wonderful. Usain Bolt is the fastest runner in the world. Sprinter, 100-meter dash. He has 3 world records. When I say 3 world records, he broke his own world record twice. So he was not competing with someone else. He was competing with his own self. So, so compete with your own self rather than competing with others. When you are competing with others, you are entering into a complete different paradigm. Competing with your own self, improvement, how you can do something better than what you did yesterday. Think over that. On how you can make it something better tomorrow, work on that. Elevate the bar of excellence. So, when I say, excellence is not a destination, it's a journey. Every best thing in the world, as I see when the iPhone was introduced, it was a wonderful phone. iPhone, the first iPhone. I don't know, many of you must not even have seen that. So, right now we are in 16. So, the 16 generations have changed in iPhone. But when it was launched, it was still a good phone that time. But Steve Jobs and the Apple didn't stop over there. They continuously improved. So they raised their bar of excellence always. So every best thing in the world has a further scope of improvement. So even though currently you are dealing in the best thing, but it has a further scope of improvement. So increase the bar of excellence on that. Now this is a 4 effective entrepreneurial skills you require. First is education, and I'm very glad that you all are having that strive for knowledge and gaining education on a continuous mode. So education is one of the very effective entrepreneur skills. Second comes experience. Now experience is something you have to walk through. It's not a program that you put in your mind and you got experience. So experience you can only get by walking through it. So this is another thing, and hands-on experience is very important. So experience is a wonderful tool which you get. That's why some of the family offices have in their charter that the family member will be inducted into our business after having 3 years or 5 years of gaining experience from other company. So that experience is very important for an entrepreneur. Then comes exposure. So if you don't have an exposure to the things, you will never feel the urge of that. Let's say if you are only confined to Russell Khema, so and not having anything from outside, so we would only choose the things which are available from here. I remember, since we are from India, and in the early days, we had only 2 brands of cars, Fiat and Ambassador. So let's say if you want to go into intercity, different cities, you take Ambassador, which was little bigger car. If you want to drive within the city, the smaller car was Fiat, and that was the only choice. Now with the exposure of the multinational brands and all the models of all the brands are available, so with this exposure you have a choice. So exposure is very important for an entrepreneur. That's why we go to different places to attend exhibitions, attend forums, attend conferences, to get exposure, global exposure. And fourth and important thing is empowerment. See, one person alone cannot do anything. You need to empower things. Empowering is a very important thing. Otherwise, what happens that, see, nobody is going to do as good as what you are doing. If you get, and you cannot find your clone in the world. So if you find somebody who is able to do 50% of your efficiency, that's also good enough to empower. So normally what we have seen in certain enterprise, the polarization of power is in such a way that they think that no, this person will not be able to do as I am doing, and never empowers things, and you cannot grow with that. So empowerment is very important in the business. Your alignment of vision and mission is so important. You start any enterprise in the world, your vision and mission has to be perfectly aligned. I will give you one example. When I was studying my PhD in leadership, I studied all the great leaders of the world. And some of the leadership examples have touched me in my mind and heart, which I'll share with you. JFK, when he launched mission on moon, as everyone knows that Russia is the first country to send men in space. So it became a credibility issue for US to retain their position in space. So they came out with a mission on moon, Apollo 13. So JFK launched this program, and just one of his periodic visit to NASA, he saw one person sweeping the floor. So JFK asked him directly, "What are you doing here?" A normal person answer would be, "I'm sweeping the floor, I'm cleaning the floor, or I'm mopping the floor," right? Normal, anybody could have answered that way. But that person's answer was such that it can be written in golden words in stone. He said, "Sir, I'm helping sending man on moon." So right from the chief scientist to the janitor, everybody were aligned on the one mission on sending man on moon. Though his job was just cleaning the floor, but his vision and alignment was that whatever I am doing is helping sending man on moon. So in your enterprise, when you start in the real world, in the business, or if you're already having your business, your mission alignment, vision and mission alignment is very important. The strategies are made on the top. Like as an owner of the business, you will decide your own strategy. Maybe later on you have a BOD, board of directors, who decides the strategy. Then the strategy it flows down to the CEO if you have, and to the every person. Now the beauty of the alignment, if you have a good alignment in your corporation or in your business, the strategy will disseminate to the last person in your organization without diminishing its values. So that's very important. If it is not aligned, it will become like a Chinese whisper. Something came from the top, by the time it goes down, it completely changes form and shape, and it will be, and they will understand completely different than what the BOD or the owner has thought of or decided. So this alignment in the vision and mission is very important. May it be a one-person company or may it be a 1,000-person people company, your mission and vision has to be perfectly set. So what is a situational decision making, and how effective it can be in sustainable business? We will see it with one example. And who do you think a good situational decision maker is? This is one story I want to narrate, and maybe the first part of the story is one which we have been grown up knowing that.
Once upon a time, a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing that he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race. Emerging as the undisputed champ, the rabbit woke up and realized that he lost the race.
This is the story we have been listening while growing up and as a child. And the moral of this story is slow and steady wins the race. This is a saying going on. And the further refinement on this version I will give you as the story continues.
That losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So, he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles.
So in this, fast and consistent will always beat slow and steady. Realizing that, you need to be fast and consistent. So not disregarding your competitors. You have to always take into consideration about the competition and always try to be fast and consistent. Now there is further refinement on this version, on this story, which I will explain.
The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race.
See, in this, identifying your core competency is very important. See, maybe right now, if you ask the giant corporations in the world, let's say, how many of you have seen the Xiaomi car? Xiaomi is a mobile phone company, right? Now they started making cars. So once, the CEO of the Mercedes was asked, Mercedes-Benz, whom do you think your competitor is? He said, not an automobile company, but maybe a tech giant. So, that competent, that they are finding, though they are more than 100 years into this automobile business, but the tech company which came and the EV which has taken over the gasoline cars, so has taken over the market. So the core competency is very important to know. That's why, though the rabbit was agile and fast, but he could not go further on the terrain when it changed the course. So choose the playing field in accordance to your competency and then challenge someone. So that's very important. There is one more phase to this story which I will narrate now.
Become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the turtle to the riverbank. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they felt earlier.
the moral of the story is, the fourth phase of the story is very important, that you can be individually brilliant, but if you're working in the team, your competency increases. So a lot of definitions have been written on team build in team. One of which I like most, I will share with you. In a good team, you get extraordinary results from ordinary people. We all are very ordinary people. At least I am a very ordinary person. But in a good team, you get extraordinary results from ordinary people. So, it's always brilliant uh, to have, the collaborating with the right partners, collaborating each other's, the shortcomings, and filling the gaps will get you miles ahead of the other competitors. So I hope, the story was meaningful, because two parts of the story many a time we'll know, but these two dimensions of the story is a great learning. As I told you, this teammates has to be very productive. So it's in a team, the strength of the team it's like a link. The strength of the chain is equal to the weakest link in the chain. So it's very important to complement each other's competency. Now, this is the thin line between, ordinary and extraordinary, which I mentioned in the definition which I give. Now, in the business, in your enterprise, what you do, communication is the most key essence of the business. 95% of the disputes, 95% of the differences arises because of lack of proper communication. So communication is a very important tool and a requirement in business and also in life. Because if it is not communicated properly, it works on assumption. And assumption is mother of disaster. So you have to communicate well. This I will explain with a small story. So there are 4 people in a team. Everybody, somebody, anybody and nobody. So these were the teammates. Now there was a task. The task was that everybody thought there was a task to be done. So everybody thought somebody will do it. So everybody thought somebody will do it. Whereas anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. So lack of communication in a team, everybody thinks somebody is going to do it. But eventually you realize that nobody has done it. So this is, everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. So this is a classic example of lack of communication in a team. So everything, that's why we have manuals, we have SOPs, standard operating policies in the business. In our company, a person, whoever is doing any task, he has steps of his assignments stuck on his desk or on the wall. So he knows that these are the steps I have to follow. Many times in the business or in enterprise, we see that you have empowered somebody to do and follow these steps. After some time you come and you realize that he is not doing couple of steps in between and overtaking to the last step. When you ask him, why you're not following this? Oh, I thought it can be done this way. And then the results are different. So your communication has to be very precise, and everything has to be instructed in a way where it is understood well to the person. So if you are speaking Chinese and other person is speaking Greek, so you communicate and nothing will go through each other. So you have to, when you communicate with someone, you have to ensure your message is conveyed and it is properly understood. So this is extremely essential in the business. A good leader always share their success and take the failure, because this is the key essence of the leader, which I will also explain in one of the example of a great scientist, a nuclear scientist who everybody knows the ex-president of India, past president of India, Abdul Kalam, was a great scientist.
I will give an instead. This is all of you who are assembled here, all of you. Remember this incident. 1979. 1979. SLU-3 satellite launch vehicle. I was a project director mission director. My mission is put the satellite in the orbit. Thousands of people worked nearly 10 years. I reached the Sri Lanka and it's the launch pad counter was going on. T minus 4 minutes, T minus 5 minutes, T minus 1 minute, T minus 40 seconds. Computer should have don't launch it. Computer says don't launch it. I am a mission that I will take decision. Everybody is on. Behind me there are 6 experts. They saw computer database coming in and screen and they see the pictures in the screen, they said there's a problem. The problem is there's a mutiny in the system, in the control system. But we did the calculation, no problem. We have got sufficient fuel and oxygen for control system to control the rocket to the acquired altitude. And we can go. Now, of course, my experts view, but I took a decision. Problems mine. Finally took a decision. I bypassed the computer and got the system. Okay, now please follow that. First stage was in the four-stage rocket, and second stage was it went to spin. Instead of putting the satellite in the orbit, it put in the way of the 1979. It was a failure. It was a very first time I experienced my failure. How we manage the failure. Success I can manage. So at that time, you're a great man, you're a great leader, also service down. He comes to me, I'm very tired working for months. He makes me have come at a go for a press conference. Plus, speaking there like this, number of people, world press. Before all this and that, all the gadgets are there. I was very frightened, I will be the culprit. Because I was project mission director. What Satish said, Chairman, India Space Research Organization, dear friends, we have failed today. This is the first time I will do all the success, all the failure is I want to support my technologists and scientists and staff so that next year they succeed. So he took the whole thing himself. And then media asked me to put the way of records only crores. Like the criticism. He received the criticism. He assured that in a year we will succeed with our team. It's a very good team. Next year, here very interesting happened. Next year, July 18, 1980, when he succeeded, so the outside you go and conduct the press conference. Do you follow what it means? It means when the failure occurred, they needed to do that. When the success came, it used to his team.
See, this is a very interesting message. What the past president of India conveyed, that in you being a future entrepreneur, or currently if you are running any enterprise, success and failure are part of life and part of business. The good leader always takes success on him or her and share the failure on him or her and share the success with the team. This is the characteristics of a great leader and a great entrepreneur. So always, normally what happens that when there is a failure, person tries to find a shoulder to just dump that burden of failure on him or her. That's not a sustainable entrepreneur or a sustainable enterprise will work. So always the leader has to take failure upon him and share the success. A great leader does not create followers, he creates great leaders. So if I'm walking alone, I'm not called a leader. If somebody is following me, then I'm called a leader. So a great leader does not create followers, he creates great leaders. And very important is leadership as an entrepreneur because when you are heading an enterprise, you are the leader in your organization. The decision what you take today is a determining factor of your yesterday and tomorrow. So this is, and leadership in the business is all about decision making. All what you take decision depends on the difference between today, yesterday and tomorrow is what decision you take today. This is, end of my slide. But one example, one thing I want to tell you is that, we are all blessed to be in UAE, so we all have seen in Burj Khalifa, in person. Even if not staying in UAE, the entire world knows Burj Khalifa. It's a 170-story tall structure. What we see is 170-story tall structure. What we can't see is the foundation on what it is standing. The foundation is very important. Let's say if I build a foundation of 50-story, can I build a structure of 170 like Burj Khalifa? No. I can only go up to 50. So all what we discussed today are the foundational values which will help you to grow your journey taller than Burj Khalifa, inshallah, hopefully. So focus on this, your foundational values, never to deviate from the right path, never use shortcut, be open, be humble. All this looks to be a very trivial thing, but these are like the soul in the human body. What a just dead person and a alive person, what is the difference between them? A person just dead and a person alive is the soul. He has all the organs, but there is no soul, so he is pronounced dead. So these are the foundational values wherein, this goes very subtle in the business, in your characters, but that will keep your business alive and that will boost your enterprise. Thank you very much, and many thanks once again for RAK, American University, RAK, to give me this opportunity to address the very august gathering. And let me tell you something, you all are going to be the future entrepreneurs. If you are having, some of you are having enterprise now, it's wonderful. May you grow so high in your business that one day if you want to meet you, we have to take an appointment for you. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions from audience, from students?
Any questions, please?
Questions and all of that. Thank you, sir, for coming all the way from Dubai and giving us an opportunity of
my
your
honor.
time. I really enjoyed, and I'm sure that everyone here have also enjoyed your wisdom. Any last thing you want to share with our students? Any advice? Anything you like to tell them? As we have heard of the last thing, because they have a quiz later, and they just like to.
First, let's take any questions we can take.
No questions, but today we are appreciated that we met you. We learned something new. You are some values to us. So we are appreciated.
See, yes, sir, please.
Yes.
Doctor, you gave some information about leadership and you covered so important topics that at the end of the presentation it looks like, it's very tough to become a leader. It's very tough to become a great leader because we saw, that tortoise and rabbit story phases and how many changes were happening. You see that there's communication. Then we talk about NASA, even the speaker, the mobile, he talks in such language that itself takes, months to learn and achieve. It's not possible always to get that. So can you share with our students the steps that they can follow, and in the process, eventually they will divide as great leader?
See, I always say that, there are few leaders and rest followers. And I think, all the students sitting over here are great future leaders. And leadership is an evolution. It doesn't happen overnight. If somebody asks me, is it leaders are born or they are made? So it's 50-50, So unless you don't have a zest for it, however talented I am, but if I sleep in my bed and never think I am great, the greatness will never come out of it. So it's 50-50, and it's an evolution of this. So continue the process of learning, keep your the wisdom. See, one thing which I would like to share, that's also part of our decision making, that we have all our offices, we have this 3-1 frame which says that God give me courage to accept what I cannot change. The second says, God give me strength to change what I can. Third and the most important is God give me wisdom to distinguish between the two. Many times what happens, we put all our energy and efforts in things what I cannot change, and never pay attention in doing things where I can change myself. So the determining factor is the wisdom to identify the change. What I can change and what I cannot change. Right now, let's say it's about 10:45 almost. Can I say that, I put all the curtains down and proclaim that it's night? It's not going to happen. So what I cannot change, I have to accept. So if these things, once, and it's a thin line between this, and that's where the wisdom comes. And I'm sure you all will put great efforts in changing things and making world a better place.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can I call upon Dr. Bernard Ferreira and Dr. Nassim, Provost of Research, to come to the stage with a small souvenir? I'd like all of you to join us and call the students.